Hello, my name is Fenna. Welcome to Following Fenna. Today we are talking about mixed messages, why they are so bad for us, what it does to our brain, why they occur, and what attachment styles have to do with that, and also what you can do when you experience this. And I'm going to explain this all to you. The world of dating can be a perplexing and sometimes frustrating experience, and one common phenomenon that leaves us individuals puzzled sometimes is getting mixed messages. Oh yeah, the crazy making confusion, gateway to insecurity, and sometimes we even wonder, am I the crazy one here? And if we do this and if we think this, that might keep us a little bit too long in an unhealthy situation. And as we know, uncertainty creates limerence. Limerence is an obsessive infatuation with someone, and after a while you have the feeling that you cannot let go of a person. Now, why mixed messages are crazy making in general, but especially for us prone to limerence, is because of the intermittent reward. The intermittent reward that mixed messages create. We get a reward followed by a maybe punishment, and this plays with our hormones like nothing else. Not knowing when there is going to be either an award or a punishment trains our brain into addiction. And beside this, limerence also feeds off on hope. Little breadcrumbs of hope that we get in mixed messages can go a long way, and it will keep us and stall us holding on. We stay in mixed, uncertain situation and unclear situations because we just cannot leave because of the addiction, but also because of the hope. And hope is a very, very strong force that keeps us somewhere where we don't really get our needs met. By the way, if you like my video and my content, please check out, I have a community where I put in extra content. Okay, in order to understand why people give off mixed messages in dating, it is so important to explore a little bit the concept of the different attachment styles and their influence on relationships dynamic. It's so important. So jumping right in, what can be the reason for mixed messages? And first I explain a little bit the attachment styles, and after what they have to do with the dating dynamics and with giving off mixed messages, and after I will look at what to do. So attachment styles, they have so much to do on how we approach dating and relating and intimacy. And the attachment theory is developed by psychologist John Bowlby. I hope I pronounced that right. And he suggests that our early experience with caregivers shape our patterns of attachment in our adulthood. And these attachment styles influence how we approach intimacy. And by that, it has a lot to do with how we form relationships. And there are 4 primary attachment styles. And of course, I'm going to generalize a little bit, well, a whole lot. Number 1, we have the secure attachment. Individuals with a secure attachment style approach and see the world and themselves and others as safe and okay. They have a positive view on others. They are in general comfortable with intimacy, and they seek out closeness, healthy boundaries, and healthy relationships. And in general, they communicate their feelings and their needs when they have to. Then we have the anxious attachment. People with an anxious attachment style, and you are not your attachment style, but okay, People with an anxious attachment style often seek high levels of closeness and intimacy, but they can also experience fear of abandonment when their needs are not being met. They are afraid of abandonment and rejection. They may exhibit depending behavior and constantly seek reassurance from their partner. Now, I hate the word clingy. It's so judgmental. And I also hate the word needy. I mean, we all have needs. And when they are not being met, we feel unsafe. And that's what happens when your anxious attachment style is activated. Number 3, the avoidant attachment style. Yep, the avoidant attachment style tend to prioritize their independency and their self-reliance. And they may have some difficulty with emotional intimacy, often keeping their distance to protect themselves and their autonomy from perceived vulnerability. Being vulnerable can be very scary. And one of their coping can be to withdraw when they feel unsafe. Number 4, the disorganized attachment style. Individuals with a disorganized attachment style exhibit inconsistent and unpredictable behavior in relationships. Yep, they may have experienced trauma or inconsistent caregivers. So inconsistency is a threat going through their lives, leading to difficulties in forming a stable and secure connections. So given the diversity of attachment styles, it's not so surprising that mixed messages can arise in dating. And I'm going to give you here some reasons why people can give off mixed messages. Because not everybody who does that is a jerk or is out there to hurt you or is some sort of player. Because it happens most of the time subconsciously. But nevertheless, the results are the same. It's confusing and it's very, very painful. Okay, reason number 1 is the fear of being vulnerable. Especially people with an avoidant attachment style may send off mixed messages. It's like a defense mechanism. They may desire emotional connection. I mean, they're human. We all desire emotional connection, but subconsciously also struggle with the fear of being controlled and having to give up their so well preserved autonomy. And also deep down, they also fear getting hurt or rejected. And this ambivalence can lead to contradictory behavior, such as pulling away after moments of intimacy. First there's intimacy and after they pull away. And in the essence, the anxious and the avoidant both fear rejection and therefore abandonment. It just plays out very differently in their needs and in their behavior. And I also know that people in a limerence episode also tried to hide their vulnerability. They don't like being this vulnerable. They can hide that by manipulating, lying, suppressing their actual needs, or pretending that they are okay with this relating. So protecting and not showing your vulnerability can be a reason for giving off mixed messages. Number 2, why we sometimes give off mixed messages is the insecurity and need for reassurance. Especially those with a more anxious attachment style. And please, I cannot stress this enough, don't see your attachment style as your identity. Even though I call them, for the sake of this video, I call them the anxious. And if you are an avoidant, but they are fluid And they're also very much depending on the amount of security and safety that you feel in a relationship. But okay. The anxious one may give mixed messages due to their need for constant reassurance, but also the tendency to hide that. We feel embarrassed about that. So they may alter between expressing intense affection and seeking a lot of validation, and then becoming distant or aloof out of fear that this was too much, or basically the fear of rejection. We sometimes get passive aggressive instead of expressing our needs. There is a lot of shame around feeling so needy and showing this behavior. Number 3, conflicting desires. Simple as that. People often possess a blend of attachment styles, or they have different attachment styles across various of relationship. And this internal conflict can result in mixed messages, as sometimes we grapple with our own desires for closeness, but also keeping our distance or independency. And yes, in the end, we all desire connection, but sometimes we just don't know how to do that. And sometimes we don't know exactly what it is that we want from the other. Number 4, so important, lack of self-awareness. Sometimes people are not aware of their own attachment style and the impact it has on their behavior. And this lack of self-awareness can lead very much to inconsistent signals, leaving their dating partners confused and with a whole lot of uncertainty, not knowing which needs/attachment style is activated in us. And that makes us very unpredictable. And we sometimes, if we're not aware of this, we sometimes blame the other when we don't know that we are activated and that we do actually have a problem. We just blame the other. We genuinely think sometimes it's the other when we feel upset and unsafe. Okay, well, so far that's not very uplifting. Can we do something about this? Yes, we can. Number 1, open communication. Foster honest and open conversations with your partner or your dating partner about your expectations, your needs, and your fears. And this can help so much clarify the intentions and reduce misunderstandings, of course. If you feel unsafe and unsure, express it. Subtitle your behavior, why you do what you do, as we call it, subtitling your behavior. Yes, it takes vulnerability, but making yourself vulnerable can be so healthy in relationships. Express what you want. What you expect, what you feel, and what you need. No more pretending, no more passive-aggressive behavior, and there is nothing wrong with asking clarity. You can say, hey, what you just said is really confusing for me. Can you explain this, please? I mean, how healthy is that? Just ask if you want to know something. Number 2, so important, having a plan. And I always say this, know what you want. Do you want a serious relationship? Do you want to be monogamous? Express it, preferably before you have sex. There is nothing wrong with wanting that. Most people want that, actually. So be clear to yourself. No more pretending that you are okay with fakeness or something that you're actually not that okay with. Number 3, self-reflection. Take the time to understand your own attachment style and how this manifests in dating. Know yourself. Developing self-awareness can lead to a better understanding and improve relationship and the dynamic. I admit I've had relationships where I reacted so anxiously and I didn't know that I was activated and what was happening. And instead of sitting down and have an open talk about this, I just acted out. I acted out of fear, testing the others, blaming the others, and I made all the scenarios in my head. And it was after I learned about my anxious attachment style and my fears and what I need and where they come from that I could express this and also admit what I need in a safe relationship. Number 4, patience, compassion, and a whole lot of boundaries. Recognize that everyone has their own journey and maybe they are grappling with their own attachment style. Like I said, not everyone giving off mixed messages is a narcissistic jerk or they're out there to hurt you. But you can decide if this is healthy for you. I mean, someone can be the nicest person in the world, but still make you anxious and insecure and maybe even unhappy in the relating. And unfortunately, the avoidant and the anxiously attached tend to find each other really attractive. And then we get this toxic dance of not having our needs met, and we can feel miserable in relationships even though we love that person. It's all about picking the right person, taking the time to pick the right person and to pursue the right person. Someone who wants the same as you want. Also in the amount of clearness, in the amount of contact. So your emotional resonance is called. That means that the quality and the amount of contact makes your nerve system relax. If this is not happening, you can either express this or you can decide to walk away if something is just not working. Now, having said that all, of course, there are certain situations where you are dealing with someone who is very selfish and who just doesn't care if they give off mixed messages and who are not ready for a healthy commitment and who are even gaslighting or playing out their insecurities in this very unhealthy way. And the only thing you can do is just to walk away, because we have the right to enjoy the relationship or the relating we are in. And they do exist. They do exist. Happy, healthy, secure relationship. That doesn't mean perfect, but at least not crazy making. If you are with someone who is clear in what they want, this can give you so much safety. For me, the need to analyze every little bit of information in order to get some clarity is a huge red flag. I want to be with someone who makes it very clear in their words and their deeds and their action that they actually want to be with me. I'm just done with analyzing. I'm too old with analyzing in my life. Now, I am very curious. What mixed messages have you dealt with? Or maybe you have given off. I know I have given off some. I've dealt with some. If you want my help in one-on-one coaching, please send me an email. My email address is in the description below. And for now, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in another one. Bye.